welcome to the 2019 Women's March. When I say resist, you say persist. Resist! 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 Resist!
I wasn't allowed to talk about anything. I was literally just being silenced by the court system and by police and lawyers and everyone.
Persist!
She's a young woman refusing to be silent.
Persist!
A survivor demanding to be seen.
Persist!
In this era of Me Too, Sam Fazio is an emerging warrior, even when she feels nothing like it.
It's been almost 3 years since it happened, and it still affects me pretty much every day. I've had crazy panic attacks just from being in the dark, and it's just an overload of feeling like I'm back there even though I'm not.
Sam was 17 when she was sexually assaulted at a student dance at a Vancouver bar. A 16-year-old boy she knew cornered her in a bathroom stall. Her memory of what happened next is graphic and disturbing.
Him pushing me down into a crouching position in the corner of the stall and shoving his penis down my throat, and I just remember crying and pushing with my hands against his legs trying to get him away from me, but he was a lot stronger and I couldn't get away. And then he was raping me and just being so scared, and then I just remember looking down and I saw all my blood everywhere.
Sam was rushed to hospital and into emergency surgery. Her injuries so horrific, doctors told her they believed a weapon was used.
They had to sew back together my vagina because it had incisions. I think it was 6 inches inside of my vagina. There was a really deep cut, and then the outside was split as well. So yeah, so they had to do an emergency surgery because I was losing way too much blood, and they were getting really scared. And they said that I could have died if they didn't do it right then.
It would be weeks before she could walk, let alone take part in a women's march. Now Sam is sharing her story publicly for the first time to openly question why, even now, even in this era of reckoning, anyone would ever want to.
This terrible thing happened to me, but then I just have to keep fighting to prove that it actually happened.
The night of the attack, police came to see Sam in the hospital. She had just come out of surgery.
They kept asking me about what I was wearing and stuff, and I just was so infuriated by that. I just remember yelling back at them I should have been able to walk into the club naked and not have someone touch me.
The questions outraged her then and again in court, when the defense suggested the attack was consensual.
At the hospital, the specialists and everything said they've seen a lot of sexual assaults, and that's never happened before. There's never been an incision inside or outside of someone's vagina after being assaulted. I think it's a pretty clear sign that obviously that could not have been consensual, but the defense's side tried to just say that the rapist's penis was too big.
Despite the arguments, Sam's attacker was convicted, not just for her assault, but for another one too, that came to light during her trial. It was almost over, and Sam says she just wanted to move on, to focus on her new life as an arts major. She turned to meditation to help her heal. But then, just when she thought she was catching her breath, came the sentencing last fall. As a young offender, her attacker got the maximum 3 years, but the judge decided only 2 weeks of that should be spent in custody, the rest under supervision. Part of the reasoning? Sam's attacker had missed out on graduating with his friends and was at low risk to reoffend.
He had 2 charges of sexual assault, and it got like significantly worse with the second one. But like saying that he was a low risk to reoffend just makes no sense to me. I think it just shows that it's okay to assault people, because like the worst that's going to happen is you're just going to have to go sit in a detention center for 2 weeks.
How it shook our entire community to the core.
The apparent disregard for Sam, the perception the offender's rights eclipsed hers, became a flashpoint. Soon after the sentence, nearly 200 protesters showed up at the courthouse. Mitra Kazemi and her sister organized the rally.
We were so angry and like disgusted.
They don't even know Sam, but the outcome of her trial, they say, felt like a collective insult.
Showing the judge that like this many people are like disgusted by your reasoning, and like this many people are questioning your authority as a judge.
Mitra and Yalda also started a petition demanding the judge in Sam's trial be stripped of his duties. It's largely symbolic. Judges are appointed for life, but it's gathered more than 70,000 signatures, and Yalda says challenges a justice system to step up to the changing times.
It's really good for the survivor to see that, you know, this many people stand with you, this many people think that you are injustice, like this many people want to do something to help you.
You're like something to look up to, as much as you didn't really want to be in the first place, but doing a good job.
Sam has support from good friends, but it can be so overwhelming to be the face of a cause.
Hey Sam, I heard what happened to you. I'm so sorry you had to go through that. In 9th grade I was raped, so I know what you're sort of feeling.
She's also been flooded with messages, hundreds from other survivors looking to her for guidance.
Some of them saying that like they've never told anyone, and that just reading my like one post on Facebook or whatever made them like go home and tell their mom, or like go and tell their best friend. Like that's just seems like insane that just like something that happened to me can like inspire someone to do something so incredible for themselves. It's like that's the part that like fuels me, but like when I'm reading them, it's like I just can't believe that like anyone else has to go through this as well, and that makes me sad. Hi.
Hi.
Sam's father, Brian Fazio, says he often feels powerless.
It's a feeling of feeling lost. You're just drowning every day.
He's gone to every rally to support his daughter and to fight for her.
Just seeing what my daughter went through the trial. After the trial, not before the trial, she said she could understand why victims take their own lives. She said she felt victimized the night of the attack. She felt victimized by the judge. It's been hard. It's hard to tell someone the right thing to do is to go through that.
And Sam is still so vulnerable. She found her voice in an era when more survivors are being heard, and yet she often feels more defeated than empowered.
Like I don't feel like I can confidently tell anyone to go report it to the police, because it's been such like a terrible process.
It is difficult to move forward when the past still defines and disappoints you. Sam's attacker is appealing his sentence and his conviction, and Sam says she's left wondering if speaking out is worth the trauma that is still coming with it.
Wow, such a powerful story, Ioanna. And, you know, 2 weeks for that crime in custody, I mean, that sparked a lot of outrage, but it's not unheard of.
No, those kinds of sentences are actually quite typical. For people who are young offenders at the time of major crimes, including sexual assault, the vast majority don't serve much time, if any, in custody, because the reasoning is rehabilitation. So most of the time, sentences are served in the community, and they include curfews and counseling. Now, in this case, it's not clear what the offender in this case is obliged to do, because the case is under appeal. But to put it into further context, the Crown had pushed for this young man to be tried as an adult because of the severity of the crime. And the judge ruled that would not be the case. But had he been convicted of aggravated sexual assault, which is the conviction that he's facing now, he would be facing a maximum penalty of life in prison.
Okay. Ioanna, thanks very much.
You're welcome.
And one other note, that Sam Fazio's attack ended in a conviction at all is rare. That happens only in about 12% of sexual assaults reported to police. And in only about half of those cases does the attacker serve time in custody.